We'll be announcing this, but the reason is we announced it early is that the seats is very limited. So we encourage, if you are thinking about it, please make a commitment and sign up for it. It's going to be March 8th through the 17th. Sheikh Arslan will be taking the group. So please get more information outside the rotunda. Inshallah. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I tried to utilize the day of Monday for our khatira to discuss issues of relevancy, to bring forth clarity, and also to sometimes connect with the community on issues which I feel are necessary to touch upon as our community, mashallah, is growing, and as we interact with one another, and as we grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was brought to my attention a little over a week ago after 2 or 3 individuals asked me the question about making up prayers. Making up prayers if you miss prayers. And so I explained to them what I was taught, but then I was told a few days later that there was an understanding among some people that prayers don't need to be made up. Hence, I want to take the next 14 minutes, inshallah, to discuss this matter, which I feel is very important for us all to have clarity upon. First and foremost, in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, if you وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If there is ever a dispute, a disagreement amongst you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a prescription of how to resolve these issues. Take it back to Allah and His Rasul. If you believe in Allah and the final day. I.e., in our religion, aside from the different school of thoughts, which are all legitimate and all the views that they hold are based on the Quran and Sunnah, we have to understand this. The Sunnah of Rasulullah is very complex, and it's not possible for any one individual to practice every Sunnah of Rasulullah at the same time. It's not possible. In Salah alone, there are over 100 differences just in Salah alone. For example, for many, they sit after the second sajda and then they stand up. Yes? And there are many after the second sajda that stand straight back up. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah is of the opinion that we always take the latter hadith, the most recent hadith, because it is more legitimate. But in this case, Imam Abu Hanifa did not take this last hadith, which is to sit before we stand. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was put to the spot and asked, why are you not taking this hadith? So his answer was, we see in the hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the second sajda, going to the second rak'ah or going to the fourth rak'ah, he would just stand up. But this hadith that says he sat before he stood was something that transpired at the latter portion of his life, few months before his departure from this world. And at that time, due to illness, due to weakness, due to fatigue, he would sit down, and it's known as jalsa istiraha, the sitting of rest, and then he would stand back up. But regardless, these both are correct. For those who sit and stand, and for those who stand, it is correct also. In the Quran, we are also told that to follow and obey Allah, أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم, and those obey Allah, His Messenger, and those who are of authority amongst us. Now, those amongst authority has great depth to it. Anyone who is leading in the perspective of religion, bringing forth understanding of the religion, advice should be sought from those individuals in regards to our deen. Does that make sense? When we tell people just pick up the Quran and Sunnah and follow whatever you want to, it's a very dangerous game. Because what comes around is, I read the whole Quran tarjuma, the whole translation, I don't find so-and-so thing in the Quran. Or I read some of the hadith and I don't find it in the hadith. Remember, my dear friends, our deen, our sharia is on 4 usul. There are 4 pillars of it. One is the Quran, one is the Sunnah, one is ijma', and one is qiyas. There can be time at another time we could discuss this in depth, but the consensus of scholars, or the opinion that is based through the consensus of scholars, is all surrounding the Quran and Sunnah. So I want to read you 3 hadith inshallah. Number 1, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It comes in hadith أخرجه الدارقطني بسم الله عن عبد الله عن نافع عن ابن عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من نسي صلاة فلم يذكرها إلا وهو مع الإمام فليتم صلاته فإذا فرغ من صلاته فليعد التي نسي ثم ليعد التي صلاها مع الإمام. انتهى. This hadith is very beautiful, where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, a person forgot a previous prayer, and they remembered it while they were in the next prayer with the Imam. What do? The Prophet ﷺ tells us, you complete the prayer with the Imam, and then you go and make up the prayer that you missed, and then you make up the prayer that you prayed with the Imam. Let me put it in perspective. I forgot to pray Maghrib today, and I came for Isha, and while standing behind the Imam, I go, I never prayed Maghrib. So a person will then finish the Salatul Isha with the Imam, go and read Maghrib, Qadha, which means make it up, and then read Isha again. In another hadith, we find from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sorry, let me skip this back here, that Man nasiya salatan falyusalliha idha dhakaraha. Whoever forgets a prayer, they should pray it when they remember. Now there are 2 incidents, and both of them surround the time of the Khandaq, the war of the trench, that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam missed his prayer. He missed his prayer also. And he missed it by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he can educate us how we make up our prayer also. It comes in the hadith عن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه إن المشركين شغلوا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن 4 صلوات يوم الخندق. The mushrikeen kept the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam busy from 4 prayers on the day of Khandaq, on the day of the trench. حتى ذهب من الليل ما شاء الله, until the night had finished, a portion of the night had finished that Allah had wished. At the time that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam remembered, فأمر بلالا, when he had the opportunity, he commanded Bilal radiallahu anhu, فأذن, he gave the adhan, ثم أقام, then he made the aqama, فصلى الظهر, ثم أقام فصلى العصر ثم أقام فصلى المغرب ثم أقام فصلى العشاء. انتهى. رواه أحمد في مسنده. There are 2 more hadith, but I'll leave it to this. The Prophet ﷺ, when he had the opportunity, he said, Bilal, call adhan, make iqama. He prayed Dhuhr. Make iqama, and he prayed Asr. Make iqama, and then he prayed Maghrib. And they said, make iqama, and he prayed Isha. So brothers and sisters in Islam, the point I'm trying to say is, making up prayers is from our deen. This is a practice that even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. When we open the pages of Quran and we don't see it, we should not jump to a conclusion and make this determination that this is not needed. How can it not be needed? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes salah to us as a gift, we should feel grateful and fortunate that we have the opportunity to pray salah. It's not a burden. When American Express gives you the gold card, you feel grateful that they gave you the gold card. If they give you the platinum card, you feel grateful to them. Hence, what do? You use it and you make payments. Yes or no? When's the last time that we've missed a payment and we get calls and we ignore, we get emails, we ignore, we get the yellow slip and the red slip, and what we do is ignore. I missed it, I don't have to pay it. We know what the consequences are in this world when we don't fulfill an obligation that we took upon ourselves. Salah is a farad, but we have to pray it because it's our duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I want to end with 3 scenarios. How do I make up my prayer? If a person has missed less than 5 prayers, then they are known as sahib al-tartib. They are a person who can still follow the sequence. So if we did not pray today, we can stand and pray Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. But if a person says, I have missed more than that, there's 2 more scenarios. Let me finish with this first. if you miss 5 prayers, you need to make up the last one that you missed, like the first one you missed, and then the second, third, fourth, and fifth. I.e., you have to go back in order. The only time the order is not applicable is if you forgot, number 1. Number 2, the time for the prayer itself right now is less. Just say there's 3 minutes left for Maghrib, and I need to pray Asr. What would you pray first? Maghrib. Why? Because you don't want to miss Maghrib also. Asr is already gone. Don't let Maghrib go also. So pray your Maghrib and then go back and pray Asr. So these are 2 scenarios in which you will break the order. One is, of course, that the time was less, or you had forgotten. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in hadith, "Man nasiya," a person who forgot and then he remembered. Now, as for those who say, "I've missed a lot of prayers in my life," we should say, "Alhamdulillah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me this concern that I realize that I need to make up my prayer." Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us all chances until the soul reaches our throat. So we have the opportunity to repair, mend, and fix our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I tell the people to do the following thing. Sit down, give yourself some time, and put together an amount. Maybe I missed 4 years of prayer. Put together a number, 4 years. Everyone's with me? Now what you do is you make a chart or a checklist, and I've heard there's apps now that help you with this, that after every prayer, you make up a prayer. So you pray your Fajr of today, and you make up a Fajr of a missed Fajr. Then Dhuhr in another Dhuhr. Asr in another Asr. Everyone's with me on this? Maghrib and Maghrib. Isha and Isha. According to the Hanafi, there's no prayer after Fajr and Asr except for Qadha. You can make up prayer. Unless it's at the time of sunrise or the time of sunset. That time you don't. But other than that, you have plenty of time to make up the prayers. I feel this is the best way to do so. Why? Because you don't overburden yourself. And then inshallah, let's say inshallah, slowly but surely we will cover the ones that we missed while continuing with the ones that we need to perform. So in closing today, making of prayers is something that we learn from our deen. It happened to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a time that Asr was almost missed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised the sun a bit for him so he could read the Asr and then the sun set. These are from amongst the miracles of our Habib Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you and I have to understand that this is something we need to make up. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to keep our accounts with Him clean and pure. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep our credit score with Him the highest credit score. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to gain closeness to Him through that which He has obligated upon us, understanding it is a benefit for us and not a burden upon us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan for your time, and inshallah we'll speak soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.